If you are somebody who is a leader and you're interested in going on holidays because you've been super busy and you haven't been able to achieve anything, and your family's saying, hey, I need to take a holiday. I know it's been COVID the last 12 months, but if you are somebody who is kind of tied to your business and you haven't kind of figured out how to take a holiday, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about what I've done with my team to get them to step up. I'm going to give you some ideas and tips and tricks because I'm about to take 6 weeks off. So I'm going to be leaving the team. Yeah, I'll be dialing back in and looking at a few different bits and pieces, but I can talk you through what I've been working on with my team to have my team escalate and scale themselves and lift themselves up, if you like, climb the corporate ladder. And so we're going to be talking through how I've encouraged my team to step up and take some responsibility and also how I hold them accountable. So that's why I've got the sunnies, because I'm about to take a holiday. Welcome back to Best Practice. My name's Kobi Simmat. I'm the CEO here at Best Practice. And for the last 17 years, I've been growing this organization with the kind of hope and dream that I could have a bit of business freedom. It's one of the reasons why I started this business. I was like tied up. I was burnt out in a role. I was working full time for the man and I kind of didn't have any freedom. And in fact, the boss that I had at the time, actually I put in for holidays and I needed to take 2 weeks off. I hadn't had any holidays for about 18 months. I put in for 2 weeks holidays. I gave about 4 months notice. And at the last minute, my holidays were canceled and I was told to work. So for me, I was like, no, I want to actually have control. I did need the time to rest and reset. Continuing to work through that time after I had my holidays canceled. Yes, there was some important work to do. I wasn't engaged. I wasn't productive. I wasn't motivated. And I ended up resigning anyway. So it's something that I want you to think about. So if you are a leader or you're working with a leader and that leader's working really hard, I want to talk to you about how you can actually, what things you can start to put in place to help you to delegate and elevate. So we are live on LinkedIn. We're live there on YouTube. So anyone who's watching on YouTube, we did email out the link to our database here. And so hopefully you guys have come online. I can't actually see a dashboard of who's live at this point in time. So what I do have a question for you guys is, it's always really interesting for me, for you to tell me where you guys are watching from, wherever you are in the world. How does this relate to systems and processes? Well, I'm going to show you, and we're going to talk through that as we go through this particular episode. So first things first, the goal is I want you to grab a piece of paper or a place to take some notes for this particular video, because I've got some great questions for you. In thinking about the next 12 months, and I don't think you necessarily need to think 12 months ahead, but maybe in thinking about the next 6 months, where would be somewhere fun, given the constraints of a global pandemic, to have a holiday or get some rest and relaxation? So where would be a nice place that you can get to, that you can rest and relax and reset and recharge and get remotivated? I want you to write down somewhere that is maybe nearby, that's in the country that you're in. If, you know, here in Australia, that you can actually go and try to have some time off, if you like. Maybe it's stay at home and take some time off. Maybe it's go to see friends and relatives. Maybe it's going to a beautiful destination that's within reach for you. So I want you to write that down. I want to ask that question. So even if you're not the leader of an organization, I just want you to start to think about, okay, how can the team around me step up so that you can take a holiday, or at least you can maybe do more of what you want to do. So let me know by writing that down. Let me know where you are watching from. So if you've come online and you are watching from somewhere local or somewhere anywhere in the world, let me know where you are watching from. And are we live, guys? Everything's working? Okay, awesome. I'm not getting any feedback. So that's the first thing to think of. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to drive from Sydney, Australia, all the way to the tip of Cape York, so all the way up the east coast of Australia, and I'm going to be doing that over 6 weeks. Functionally, there's a couple of things I've got set up. Obviously, I've got all of the systems that we use and the reporting systems that we use here at Best Practice, I can access on this device. Data connection. I have a lot of mobile data available here, so that's going to give me access to the things I need to access. But the objective of this holiday is to actually switch up, switch off. So my goal is to switch off and to take some time to switch off. So there are very deliberately some pretty remote places that I'm going to go to where I don't have phone connection or iPhone service connection and there's no Wi-Fi. And that's a good thing because that's going to help me to kind of get creative and start thinking about, how I can do that. So hello, we got somebody watching from Abu Dhabi this morning. So good to have you on board, and hopefully everything's coming through loud and clear and the sound's all good. So I want you to think about that. In the next 6 months, the next 3 to 6 months, where is a beautiful place that you could go to rest and relax? Maybe check yourself into a hotel, or maybe go and see friends and family. That's our goal. So let's work on that. So we can take some time off. We want to start to talk about how we get our team to delegate, how we can delegate to our team, to the people around us or beside us in our team, so that we can have that time off. Okay. The first thing that I do with my team is a lot of professional development. We've been doing some surveys recently on LinkedIn, and we about 2 weeks ago we did a survey, a poll on LinkedIn. We got 2,500 responses to that survey, and people are motivated. We found that the majority, not the vast majority of people, but the majority of people, and it was certainly the highest result in that poll, is that what motivates people at work is the opportunity for professional development and the professional development that takes place. So in the lead up, what I have been of professional development. We do a lot here at Best Practice. It's part of our ethos. It's part of what we encourage you guys to do, is a lot of professional development. The question is, on what? Now, from time to time, when we kind of do an open poll, we sort of say to people, what would you like to, if we're doing performance reviews, what would you like to learn in the next 12 months? Now, when you ask that question, you do get great responses, and people kind of say, I haven't thought about it. Oh, maybe I'd like to do some different learning, technical training, or different training in different parts of something that just comes to mind. Often when you ask that question, it's not well structured. So as the leader of a team, or as an observer and a commentator on your team, it's important to think about the team's objectives. So yes, the professional development is really important, but what we try to do is we try to enhance the strengths of people in the team. And so I do have to take time. So once a week, for a couple of hours every week, I kind of look around and I look at the team, and then I look at the things that we need to achieve, and I'm looking for who's good at what, and I'm making sure the right players are being inspired and motivated towards those objectives. So we have thought about what the big team goal is. We've got our revenue goal, and then under the revenue goal, we've got marketing goals, we've got sales goals, we've got operational goals, and that's to help us to be a financially sustainable organization so we can continue to serve our customers. We've got our customer goals. We've got the goals to service our customers and the net promoter score goals. And then we've got professional development goals. But what we're looking for is we're looking to say, okay, how are we performing against those goals, and what professional development can we do to enhance that? What players can we use to enhance that performance? And so basically sitting down and saying, okay, we do professional development, and that's going to get your team to step up. What we've got to do is we've actually got to lead that. And what I would recommend you consider doing is a learning needs analysis or a gap analysis. And so what I will do is I will gently influence the types of professional development and the learning and development that people are doing. So if you're in the sales team, we will kind of focus the professional development on sales. If you're in marketing, we'll focus on marketing. If you're in the technical part of our business, we'll focus it in on that. And then we'll make sure people have got parallel competencies. I've talked about that in other videos that we've talked about. If you're in marketing, what are the parallel competencies that you need to understand? You need to understand sales and selling, and you might need to understand customer service. And so you can become a well-rounded marketer by understanding sales and customer service. Those are the parallel competencies, or the side tangible competencies that relate to the core competency that you have. If you're a very technical person, it's important to learn sales. It might be important to learn finance. And so I know that technical people in my organization shy away from the finance part. They kind of block it. If we educate them and empower them with that knowledge, they will have more empathy for their other team members. And so what I'm trying to do is build empathy across the team so that people can empathize with each other. And then that is the glue that sticks the team together, that has the team working well. I'm not the sole energy source in this organization. I'm not, trying to run everything in this particular organization as the leader. And so that I can go away for six weeks, in this instance, I'm taking a 6-week trip. I want you guys to be thinking about, with the team members around you, how are you empowering them? How are you giving them skills? Because if you see yourself as the smartest person in the room and you see yourself as the person with all of the solutions, then you're never going to be able to take a holiday. You've got to see that your team members and the people around you, you've got to get yourself to a mindset position that they're smarter than you, they're sharper than you, they're better at solving the problems than you are, they've got more knowledge than you do, and you're not required, if that makes sense. And I know for a lot of people, that's a big dent and it's quite confronting for your ego. But that's the mindset we've got to get ourselves to, because that gives us the freedom. And then you can think about, okay, well, what's the energy that I inject into the organization? And can I charge the batteries? And then the batteries will slowly drain over a period of time. So it is something to consider. Now, I'm not necessarily advocating that you might take 6 weeks off, but that's what I'm doing. And I've been building up to that. The longest trip I've ever done is 12 weeks. I've done a 7-week trip. I've done a 5-week trip. I've done a 6-week trip, and I'm doing another 6-week trip. And I kind of do those every couple of years. So that's something that I want you to think about. So there's a mindset shift for you, which is looking at your team members and saying, how do I get that person? How do I give them more experience? How do I let them make some mistakes? When you say you've got experience is wins and losses. And so you've got to create the safe space for the people around you to make mistakes. We made some mistakes in the last couple of weeks, and we sat here in a meeting in this very studio right before we started this video talking about, hey, we just worked out another way that doesn't work. So giving your team an opportunity to make mistakes while you're there so that you can help them feel good about those mistakes, help them understand what they need to improve, and help them to implement improvements, then you're going to feel more confident as you start to think about, all right, I can take this time off because I know that they can solve the problem. I know that they won't have a meltdown, and I know that the world's not going to end. And so then they are going to solve the challenges that do come up. Okay. The next point I want to make is starting to think about the key goals and how they're documented. Here at Best Practice, we have an A4 sheet. It's our KPIs, our key performance indicators. And we've done a lot of work in the lead up to this particular financial year that's about to start. So the Australian financial year runs from the 1st of July through to the 30th of June. So we're finishing this financial year. I'm getting board approval for our budget tomorrow after this video. So it'll be the day after this particular video was recorded. If you are watching the recording later on, is to start to say, okay, how can, what are the goals that need to be delivered? So the budget is almost finished. The key performance indicators are almost finished, and we're ready to go for the next year. And so then I basically work my way around to all of the managers. Are you set? Have you got everything you need? Are you confident? Can you do this? And a lot of them will say, look, I'm figuring it out. I'm like, excellent. That's the right way to go forward. Okay. Has anyone got any questions on this so far? Let me know if this is helping. How many we've got live on YouTube? Can you guys see? Okay, cool. Because I can't see that on my dashboard today. So it's all good. Okay, cool. So we're talking about key performance indicators, and that is important. So if that is a bit complex and a bit detailed for you, what are the goals? So if the team members each side of you and the team members that you work with, what are their goals? What are the goals that you want them to achieve? And setting up a dashboard. So what I'm going to be looking at while I'm away for 6 weeks on my iPhone is I'm going to be looking at the dashboard. I'm going to be looking at the marketing results against the goals we've set. I'm going to be looking at the sales results against the goals we've set. I'll look at the financial results against the goals we've set. I'll look at the customer service results against the goals we set. And I'll look at the professional development results against the goals we've set. And that, from my perspective, that's me and my direct reports. That's what I'll look at. There's lots of other things we'll look at, the videos and the training and all those other aspects that are part of the business. But from my perspective, before I go, I'm having a conversation. Are you confident? Are you happy? What learning are you doing? What professional development are you doing? Are you confident that you can do this? And I'm obviously also looking back, how have they gone in the past? So I'm not dropping someone in the deep end. They've got some experience. They're growing. They're learning. And the simple fact that I'm leaving and getting out of the way they're quite excited by the opportunity that they can get in and they can solve problems and they can get some more experience and prove that they can do it without me, if that makes sense. Okay, let's talk about professional development and how to make that super effective so that you can delegate and elevate and get that freedom that you're looking for. Take that holiday and not be stressed that you need to work, through your holiday. There's nothing worse than being on holidays and being in a beautiful hotel or, taking some time off and actually having to dial in and work, having to jump on your computer and check emails or check in and see what's going on. You want to kind of take that opportunity to rest and reset and relax so that you can be re-energized for your team when you come back. Everybody, you've got to send people on holidays so that they can get energy. And Cameron Del Moro, good to have you on board. Good morning. So we do want to have that energy being injected. And so holidays and time off is really important for every single team member because it's about going and charging batteries and that person bringing positive energy back to the team. So if you've got people staggering their holidays, everyone's going to be constantly bringing positive energy back and sharing stories and sharing how their life is interesting. So the final point that I kind of want to make about how to help your team delegate and elevate is the technique of professional development. Here at Best Practice, we use a thing called the learning pyramid. The learning pyramid starts to identify the different types of adult education, of the different methodologies, media sources, if you like, of adult education and their level of effectiveness. So go right ahead and do a Google search, the learning pyramid. And what you will see is a number of diagrams that start to determine or talk about the different types of learning and how that learning is delivered. So what we use here at Best Practice is obviously there's lots of lecturing. There's standing up in meetings and giving this big verbal script. The people listening to that only retain about 5% of that knowledge. So if you think about 5% of that knowledge, that means that you need to deliver that script 20 times to have that information sink in. So we want to try and be a bit more efficient and effective with professional development and learning and development with team members. So we can go to audio visual. You can record videos. I'll be recording some videos straight after this live stream that we're doing right now for some internal training. But that's only going to help people. The people that watch those videos probably only going to retain 10 to 15% of that information. We could ask them to read a book. We can write a policy or a procedure. And this is how management systems come into this particular video. You might think, right, I'm going to write down all of the policies and procedures so I can take a 6-week holiday. That's what I'm doing. Have I written policies and procedures? No, I haven't. In fact, I'm almost dead against them because no one reads them. And when you look at the learning pyramid, they're probably only about 20% effective. So somebody who reads a policy or a procedure or reads a book only retains about 20% of that knowledge. There's a lot of books behind me here. Of the ones that I've read, I've probably only retained about 20% of that knowledge. What I do is I lock in and know the information is there. And I can go, actually, that information is in one of these books. Let me go find the book and turn to the page. And in fact, there's a book I need to pull off that shelf after this video to check a page because I was talking to someone about last night. So that's an example of the learning pyramid and how reading books, we know where the knowledge is, but we can't recall it. So let's skip ahead. There's lots of experiential learning and trial and error and those sorts of things. But what you guys want to know is the most effective way to have adults in your organization, the team members in your organization, accelerate their development so you can take a 6-week holiday. So what is that? It's teaching others. The reason why I'm so good at what I do and I'm so good at my job is because I'm teaching you guys the whole time. Half of the selfish reason why I do all of these videos is because I'm basically teaching you guys and I'm talking about the stuff that I need for my business and my organization and my team to be successful. And I'm basically a walking, talking testament to that. So what we do in our team meetings, we just had a marketing meeting before this video. Someone in that marketing meeting does a teaching session. And we had someone in the marketing team teaching about a small part of marketing just for 5 minutes. So selfishly, the person that does the teaching is the person that's doing the most learning, the most effective retention of information. So in our sales team meeting on a clock, we have everybody in the team teach something for 5 minutes. Those people recall all of that information. In our technical operations meetings, we have somebody teach something technical. It's the person doing the teaching that's doing the learning. So as you start to empower your team to step up and empower your team to take more responsibility, I strongly recommend considering the learning pyramid. And when you set up your team meetings, finishing, say, the last 20% of your team meetings. So if your team meeting's going for an hour, the last 20 minutes of that team meeting, you work your way around the group, the attendees of that meeting, and have everybody teach something. Back to the learning needs analysis that I talked about. If you can have those team members, if you can influence what they come forward and teach, I need you to come into this meeting and teach about this particular topic. And they'll say, I don't know anything about it. Go and read as much as you can from this book and this book and this book and this content and the internet, and come and report back to me. It's not the process of reporting back. It's not what you want to hear. It's actually that you want that person to learn. And so that is how we have, by stealth, embedded a huge amount of information into our team members that then gives me the confidence that I can go on holidays for 6 weeks. How do I get that confidence? This is kind of the final point. I watched somebody in a meeting. I sat in a meeting last week and I watched one of the managers in that particular meeting. His blood was boiling. His face was red. He was frustrated that his team weren't stepping up. They weren't performing. Their numbers were low. He was super frustrated. It wasn't that it was making him look bad. It was like physically hurting him in terms of actually where the numbers needed to be. And it was actually really affecting his performance and his job as well. And he is coming along as a leader. He's starting to ask better questions. He's becoming a better leader. But he was missing one key point. As a leader in your team, one of the most effective things you can do is ask great questions. And when you ask great questions and stop and wait for the answer, then your team is going to start playing back the information. So you're going to be forcing them to learn because they're playing back the information, so that as far as the learning period is concerned, the person doing the speaking is the one doing the learning. And so they're going to be learning a lot. And not only that, what I was watching this person in this particular meeting, and their blood was boiling and they were red with frustration. They were asking great questions, but they weren't allowing enough time and enough silence, uncomfortable silence, for the team members in that meeting to answer the questions. Now, I'm sure they could have had a reasonable go at answering the questions and probably got them 70% right. And that's okay because they're growing and developing. But that person was, because they were frustrated and angry, they were jumping in too quickly. So with the learning pyramid, the super success of it and the turbocharge that comes from it is the fact that you then, because you're sitting there, I've sat there in the past, I've sat there frustrated. So by using the learning pyramid, people are actually playing me back the information that I want to make sure they know and hear. And it's a kind of a test. And so those are my key points. That's what I've been working on the last couple of months, doubling down on it the last couple of months, to be able to leave this organization and go and do 10,000 kilometers of driving through June and July in 2021 to allow me to take time off. And I want to encourage you to focus in on those key points. So what are they again? Okay, the first thing we need to do is obviously get the mindset right. We need to allow our team members to step up, and we need to think about what their KPIs are. We need to say, right, everybody's set with their goals. We need to think about our destination and our holiday, because that's the positive side of this. Your team are going to step up and allow you to get away to this great location. We want to have that conversation about those goals. Is everybody set? Have you got everything that you need? Are we all on the same page? Get yourself a dashboard so that you can remotely track that information. How is that information going to be reported to you so that you're confident that you don't need to pick up the phone, you don't need to check emails, you can just check in every couple of days to check that the numbers that you need to see are right, and you're on the same page with the person responsible for those numbers. We need to empower our team with professional development. So we need to steer that professional development so it supports those goals. And we need to make sure that in every team meeting, that at the end of the team meeting, that everybody in the team meeting is teaching something about that specialist area of the business, not some random topic that they want to talk about, that specialist area of the business, because the people doing the teaching and the training in those meetings, the people talking about things they've recently learned, are the people doing the learning. Okay, so that's it. Good morning, Stan. Good morning, Puzzle Duck in Melbourne. And we got a few people from a few other different places in the world. So great to have you guys on board. If you did miss the intro, I show you my new glasses. I am going on holidays for 6 weeks. I will be off for most of June and July. in this particular video, I was talking about what I have been doing over the last couple of months to empower my team, to train my team, to develop my team, to grow my team, to give me the confidence that I can actually leave the business for that period of time. I bought some new holiday sunglasses yesterday, so these are them. Do you like them? I think they're fantastic. Okay, so that's what I've been talking about. So if you missed the beginning, please go back to the beginning of this video. It has been a live stream, so for those of you watching live, it will take a little time to buffer, but it'll be there as a video that you can share and talk to with your team. So let me know in the comments, what did you like most that I talked about in this particular video? Was there a tip or a trick that I talked about that is new to you that you're going to double down in? Was there anything in this video that you already knew? Let me know what you already knew. Let me know if I'm helping you to summarize. Let me know if there's something that you picked up. But more importantly, I want to know, what is an amazing holiday destination that it would be really fun for you to go and visit? So let me know, in thinking about the next 6 months, what's a fun holiday destination that you could go to and check out? And this video is all about helping you to inspire and elevate your team to give you some freedom to either A, step up in your career, or B, take some time off. And I hope it was really, really helpful. Okay. Hey, in Iowa, in the USA, we got a great global audience today. I hope this has been helpful for everybody. We are back on track for at least the next couple of weeks before I go away with live streams. The team have got heaps of great videos that are going to be coming out, and I'm going to be trying to broadcast to you from my trip. So I'm going to try and do some videos. So my recommendation is make sure you're following me on Instagram, because I will be posting on my Instagram story some parts of that trip, and I'll be giving you some tips and tricks as to how to actually reset, take time off. So when you are on holidays, to stop thinking about work and actually recharge your batteries. So we'll have some great content coming to you while I am away. Okay. Stan Wall, anywhere our lifeguards are working. Yes, I know that. I know that your lifeguards are on the beach 95% of the time. So so what you're saying to me is that you're mostly on holidays. Okay, so great to have everybody here. I hope this has been really helpful. We're having some great success on LinkedIn right now with our business polls. So I would encourage you to check out my LinkedIn. At Kobi Simmat is my LinkedIn handle. Jump across onto LinkedIn and follow my page, my personal page on LinkedIn. Hit that follow button and go and have a look at some of the polls. It's really insightful information. The poll that we posted last night has had over 3,000 votes. So really interesting information around the quality that people most value in a leader. And right now the poll is trending, and it's saying that integrity is the value that most people value in a leader. It's the quality that most people value. So integrity. So it's come out. I think it's sitting at about 39% of the vote is integrity. The poll that I talked about in terms of what motivates people at work, the majority vote there was around professional development, which I thought was really interesting. So it's interesting to look at the other points we've put up. We're doing a poll every kind of Tuesday, Wednesday on LinkedIn, getting some great results. That particular poll's had over 100,000 views in the last 12 hours, which has been really interesting. So there's a lot happening on my LinkedIn, my personal page on LinkedIn. To check out what I'm doing over the next couple of months, follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be posting some stuff that I'm working on, I'm doing, and obviously this great trip, which is over 10,000 kilometers of driving over a 6-week period, which is going to be fantastic, right up to the tropical north of Australia, which is going to be fantastic. So if you want to come on holidays with me, follow me on Instagram. If you don't see me on LinkedIn, if you don't see me on Instagram, you will definitely see me right here on YouTube, right here live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, on Best Practice TV. Hi, my name's Kobi Simmat. I hope this has been really helpful. I hope it's empowering you, and I will get back to you shortly. Bye for now.